Good morning and welcome to the CNFR Morning Show brought to you by CINCH Jeans and Shirts. You guys are not going to want to miss our show today. Stay tuned. Oh my gosh, yes.
And then we came down here.
Hey guys, sorry. We are making adjustments because we got an extra body this morning. So stick around with us. We're going to watch a little CINCH commercial so we can get set up. Stay tuned.
Perfection almost looks easy. But it isn't. Here's to those who go the distance.
All right, we are back. So we've got 4 bodies. I apologize, I wasn't expecting 4, but I'm super happy to welcome more people. So again, my name is Heidi Foy. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am the creator of opportunities at Bullfrog Creatives. So if you all are watching this on the CNFR page, head on over to Bullfrog Creatives and check us out. So let's just start. If you would please introduce yourself.
I'm Casey Reimler. I'm the UW Rodeo women's coach.
Perfect.
Matt Tarr. I'm the barrel man here at the finals. And I'm Beau, the University of Wyoming Rodeo men's coach.
All right, listen, we're heavy on Wyoming today, and I even wore my Pokes earrings. So we're really supporting the Wyoming folks today. So you guys, here's the plan. We are just here to talk about rodeo. We can talk about the stats and we can talk about results, but there's a million other people that are doing that. So we just want to talk about some behind the scenes stuff. I guess we have typically started the show by talking about production, and I know that each of you guys have produced rodeos, you've been involved with rodeos. What is so different about this rodeo?
I just think this rodeo is on such a different platform. College kids they come to school with the goal of being here, and they pursue their studies, and they work in the arena, and this is the ultimate goal, is to end up here for a lot of these kids.
Yeah, for sure. How about you, Beau?
Yeah, it's neat that it's a national finals, and you have kids from all over the country, different states, different universities, and they all have a lot of pride in where they come from or what they're representing from their homes, and to get to come here and come together and compete against one another, it's unique for any rodeo event. So
yeah, for sure. So how is it different for you?
For me, they run it so much like the NFR. It's pretty neat. It's cool to see all these guys get opportunities, just like the Wrangler National Finals, and they run it so smooth, so fast. Roger and Jim Dewey and Boyd and Andy, all them guys, they're so automatic and so production.
It's like clockwork.
Yeah,
I mean, really, it is like clockwork right here.
It's crazy how fast they go.
So we've talked about this. I gotta take this off. It's driving me nuts. It's like my left arm during the week. We've talked a lot on this platform about kind of the timing of everything and how really everything has to happen on time.
Right.
Especially now with this live feed. It's a whole new ball game as far as production and live feed and, hitting the mark. So, it's changed a little bit from when I was doing production management myself, but it's still, we were talking about times and talking about, firing and making sure everything hits when it's supposed to then, but it's completely different now. So, sorry.
You're good.
We are real tight in here, like sardines. There's no social distancing.
None.
Which I'm happy about. So I guess, Matt, this is your first year here, correct?
It is.
Okay. I knew that it was, but I guess, how does that make you feel to be able to be a part of something like this now?
For me, it's pretty cool. I don't do much here, but to sit back and watch the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
It's all these guys some of them it's their last shot, or it's the energy, the excitement, the town of Casper. They really kind of get behind it, and it's a pretty cool atmosphere to be sitting in.
Yeah, it is. I was begging Roger last night, the final bull that bucked.
Mm-hmm.
He was looking for a little bit of action
I
last
know it.
night. Like he was throwing dirt, and
I
I was
know
like,
it.
"Oh, come on, let him play a little
I
bit."
know it.
And Roger's like, "It's 9:07. We gotta go." And I'm like,
We
"Dang
knew that
it,
bull. He might stand there and bluff, but he won't come and play
dang
with
it."
us. So.
It's so nice, and I think even the fans like that, like just a little bit of action in the bull
Oh yeah.
riding. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, you go to a car race, you want to see a wreck.
well,
You want to see something get hit. So.
yeah, that's a good comparison. I mean, I don't want to see anybody get hurt, but
No.
y'all are there and you are good at your jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love, I mean, I don't want anybody to get hurt, but I hope that you guys can play around just a little
Oh
bit.
yeah, those three guys out there, I trust them with my life. I mean, they take care of me in that barrel. I'll bring it to anything they want to bring it to.
Listen, and I have to give props to Wyatt Mason. So he was the
Mm-hmm.
original third bullfighter for the week. Got hurt on Sunday. I mean, man, talk about heartbreaking. So this kid, and now Wyatt is a local cowboy,
Hometowner.
hometown cowboy. His first CNFR fighting bulls was last year, but I watched this boy like he was a kid, a little kid, like looking through the arena, watching his whole life. And so to see him like he set a goal early on, and he did it. He was one of the bullfighters at the CNFR, and so it's kind of heartbreaking to see him get hurt and have to step out and sit out. I think he's feeling a little bit better about it now, but I know on Tuesday night he was kind of sitting up there.
He's over there with me the last couple nights, and he's smiling. He's a great guy.
Great
He's
guy.
got a great attitude. It had to hurt. I mean, this is his hometown rodeo, and everybody wants to do their hometown, especially when it's the college finals.
When it's the college
So,
finals. I mean, really, it's kind of, I mean, there's lots of big rodeos and there's lots of other kind of bigger events, but it is like the next, just that step below the NFR,
right.
and kind of on your way too.
Yeah, it's a huge rodeo, and I don't, for the people that have never been here or never felt the experience of the NFR and then the CNFR, I've gotten to do both of those now. And it's crazy. I mean, it's an atmosphere a lot like the NFR.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's talk to you, Beau, a little bit about how many how many student athletes did you guys bring this year?
Yeah, the University of Wyoming brought 10. There's 5 girls and 5 boys, and so we're excited. That's a pretty big number to bring to the college finals, and they're having a good week.
Yeah, so I've heard some talk about is that the most students representing one college?
No, I know that there's maybe another school that has more students here, but if you can bring
2
10,
full teams, more than that.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the goal, to bring 2 full teams to the college finals is a good accomplishment for any program. That means both the men's team won first or second in the region, the women's team won first or second. So
yeah, and I think it's pretty overwhelming and fun between you guys and Montana State. Like I feel like those vests are everywhere.
yeah, no, it is. It's great for our students, and Casper feels like a hometown rodeo, and the crowd cheers maybe a little extra when they're up.
The Wyoming boys.
So yeah, no, it's a neat venue for our students to have it here in Casper.
Yeah, for sure. So Beau, you were actually a guest on our college profiles. I don't even know when last year.
Yeah.
But and you talked. I was super impressed with the program that you talked about. I'd love for you to share a little bit about the rodeo program there at UW.
Yeah, shoot, there's a lot to it at the University of Wyoming, but we're trying to be successful on all levels with the program. And looking at, rodeo-wise, we look at there's 3 areas. There's the rough stock area, the women's events, and then the boys' timed events. And so we're fortunate that we have a full-time coach, Tyler Corrington, on the rough stock. Casey's our women's coach. And then, I'm in the middle with the boys and the calf roping and bulldogging. But we're trying to be successful outside the arena with our academics. And Casey's a huge part of that, checking grades every week, making sure that the students just have the support that they need to get through school. And we try to have structured practices all year round. We want to, Laramie, obviously, the weather's challenging in the winters, which we have a indoor arena and stuff, but we want to compete with the schools, the kids that have opportunity to practice year round wherever they're from. So our students get a similar experience that 5 days a week they practice throughout the whole school year. And facilities wise, we just finished a horse boarding project that houses between 80 and 100 horses right there at our facility, which is huge for the program. And,
yes.
Yeah, we have an indoor arena, outdoor arena.
So I remember when that indoor arena was built. I think it was my senior year in high school because I attended a goat tying clinic there.
It was brand new.
Yeah, and it was brand spanking new. So, and I would say it always goes this way, and I try not to let it, but then I date myself. But when I was in high school and graduating from high school and looking for places to go, those indoor arenas were very rare, especially, I mean, super necessity in Wyoming because of the weather and because of the lack of, well, I mean, the weather's rough. We'll just leave it at that. But it was rare. It was still rare. And so I think UW was one of the first programs to get an indoor barn. Casper's always kind of had the fairgrounds to practice at, but before the arena, it was the old ice skating rink, and it was awful. It was colder inside than it was outside.
Yeah.
So I feel like the opportunities for kids to be successful and maybe those Wyoming kids to stay in Wyoming and still be successful have exploded tremendously just in the past, I would say even just in the past decade.
Oh yeah, and that's Wyoming gets behind rodeo so much and such a big part of our state, but it's this all the schools in our region. Sheridan has a fairly new indoor arena. Casper's is brand new.
Yeah.
Gillette has one that 3 or 4 years old now, is pretty new. Cheyenne has a great facility. So
Riverton's had kind of a smaller indoor pin for quite
yeah,
a while.
but they have a pin. So even in our region, it's the students here practice year round, no matter where you go. And if we're going to compete with that, we need to do the same thing.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk a little bit specifically about this rodeo. I have some, this one is before last night. I have some average results that we can go through, and we'll just start at the top in the bareback riding, and then whatever stories come up, please share. Don't be shy. Don't be nervous, just a conversation. So in the bareback riding average, we've got a gentleman from Panola. We had Jeff Collins on earlier in the week, and I know like he's behind those kids, behind all the kids really. So the bareback riding has been super fun to watch, and usually always is. I mean, it kind of scares me sometimes because I can't imagine getting thrashed around like that. But
Right.
really good cowboys in the bareback riding. I was looking. Looks like we've got some Wyoming boys in the top 12 right now. Jake Kessel.
Yep.
Listen.
Rodeos for Gillette.
Yes, sir. And then let's see.
So Donnie, he's tonight, and he's good on his first two, and so hopefully he has some luck tonight and can make in the top 12 and be here in the short round.
Yeah, and the interesting part, I mean, and we've talked about this before, so this isn't anything new. The NIRA and the CNFR have it set up so that everybody gets to perform in an evening performance. But what that means is everybody takes their third run in an evening performance. So really anything can change between Tuesday and Friday.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody comes out on Tuesday, which I drew up my third go on Tuesday every time I made it, which I don't think is the good draw. I did not like it because then I had to sit and watch everybody move me out. So everybody gets that go, but it's super exciting for the crowd and for the coaches, for everybody that's kind of watching to kind of watch those numbers fluctuate a little bit through the week. So it's been a really, really good, it's been great competition in the bareback riding, but also in the tie down. Seth Peterson came out last night. So he tied a 7.7. Is that an arena record?
Oh, I don't know if it's an arena record, but Seth has been just a tremendous student athlete. He's won a lot in college rodeo the last 3 years, and academically he's graduated with 2 degrees.
Oh my gosh!
Nobody has always made practice more for their teammates than Seth Peterson, and he was really good on his first calf, and then had some tough luck in the second round. For him to end his college calf roping career,
winning that,
yeah, being 7-7 last night, fastest run of the week. We're tickled for him, and he's got a chance in the steer wrestling too. So hopefully things go good.
Good deal. Good deal. So I'm not very often at the timed event inn, mainly because there's not a safe little place for me to stand down there. I mean, let's be honest. I don't really want to get run over. So, I mean, what are you guys hearing down there? What's the talk with down at the timed event inn?
I don't know. The cattle this year maybe a little more fresh, and the bulldog, and I know that's a factor.
Yeah.
The team roping too, and they put the bear out there quite a ways, so that's one of the challenges. But the stock has been great. I feel like it's even for everybody. Mm-hmm. There's always going to be one that's a little better, one you want to stay away from, but it's it's sure fun to watch. There's so many talented student athletes all over the country. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the timed events has a bright future in professional rodeo when these guys move to the next level.
Well, so let's talk about, you said something that was pretty interesting. They moved the score out for the team roping.
Yeah,
So that just means that it's longer. They've got to sit back there and wait a little
yeah.
bit
They got to
longer.
let those steers out, and the back end in this building comes up fast, and so there's some challenges there. And man, they've handled it great.
Well, so that's interesting because as I watched, not knowing that, you can tell that it's moved out a little bit because they're not roping as early as what we would normally see in years past. And I wonder, that might be a question for the judges, just to one like why would you move it out that much? Maybe just to give them a little bit more room on the time event end, but then
Yeah.
you're pushing the other end too.
Yeah, no, I think there's a fine line there. It's important how far you let them out, especially in a building because the back end comes up so fast.
Yeah,
so.
super fast.
But no, all of the students have done a great job, and it's been fun to watch the team roping.
It
Yeah.
really showcases the horsepower too when they have to sit and see a start, and then the steers are running a little harder. I mean, it
Yeah,
shows
great
your
point.
horsepower off.
And I think, and I would also add that in a building, I would say that's not normal. I mean, usually they're going to keep that score just a little bit shorter because the back end comes up so quickly. So these horses and these cowboys are going to have, I mean, there's got to be a little level of horsemanship in this now.
Yep, and that wall I think comes so quick in the team roping too.
Mhm.
You gotta ride your horse.
The bright yellow wall.
Yeah.
If you're not paying attention, at least you can see that color out of the corner of your eye.
Yeah.
And the kids right there yelling at you. So let's talk breakaway roping. We've seen some smoking times. That 1.6 is still winning the third go. And I would say there's a lot of time between the 1.6 that's winning it and 2.1, which when you're just talking about average times, there's not a lot of time in there, but really in the breakaway roping, that's a mile for crying out loud.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. 1.6. I think that is an arena record. I saw
Yes.
it.
Yes, that is an arena record. And then that was Taylor Lawson from oh my gosh, these acronyms, Southwest Texas Junior College. We'll go with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of letters right there.
SWTXJC. Yes. So Taylor Lawson was a 1.6, is an arena record. And we talked about, I mean, I don't know that I can even get my rope up that fast and get one swing, let alone one swing, chuck it, and have it break away in time. I mean, these girls, they're headed to the big leagues, which there is a big leagues now.
Oh, definitely. And it's so awesome to see all the pro rodeos that are jumping on board and creating an opportunity for the breakaway.
Mm-hmm.
Those of you the pro rodeos that aren't, I mean, I wish I could tell them, you got to get on board.
You got to get on
this
board.
thing is blowing up, and it's awesome for the girls. I'm excited that our daughter's 4 years old, and she's going to get to go to rodeos and, she's going to get to watch the barrel race if that's what she wants to do, but she also gets to watch the breakaway. And
for so
maybe
long.
That's who
I
want to be where before, or, Casey, when she went to rodeos growing up, after college, the breakaway was kind of done. So.
Yeah, you're done. And I remember that too. I mean, when I was in college, I knew, so my horse passed away, but I knew like, man, that was it. And I knew that even at that level with that horse, he just wasn't at the level of the PRCA and the NFR qualifications. So I knew if I did go, I was going to win a little bit, but I wasn't going to be able to get there. And I think it changes for sure. Now, look at my day job is calling. That stinks. I just knew that I wasn't going to get to that level. And so now with this opportunity, you can keep going. I mean, there's other opportunities for women to keep rodeoing, but on this level and the professional rodeo level, that was it. I mean, that was it for a long time.
No, it's cool. I forget which one I was talking to and said, "Where are you going anywhere after the college finals?" And I mean, it sounded like they were rodeoing like a cap rope for all the places that they were going with that lined out for the 4th of July. So I think it's awesome.
And this year, so I got to rope in the first Cheyenne Frontier Days. This year they have equal pay for the breakaway.
I saw that. $67,000.
Yep.
So also monumental because even when you like last year and when it was still like just getting going year before last year, there you still weren't running for as much money.
No,
I mean,
it was cool to be
I don't think
there,
anybody was upset about that. But now it opens so many more doors. And I mean, it also puts pressure on these local committees too. I overheard a conversation with a producer and another gal. Like, hey man, when are you gonna bring team roping or breakaway roping to the PRCA rodeo here in town? And he was like, man, we got to come up with that purse. When we can come up with that purse, then we'll be able to bring breakaway roping in. So there's a certain level of, they're going to start feeling the pressure.
Oh, for
Those
sure.
PRCA promoters are going to start feeling that pressure. Just like you said, hopefully some more rodeos will pick that up. But it's not just a flip of the switch. There's some money that has to be brought in. Just like you said, I think the ladies would come because they want to be there.
Yep.
But sweeten the pot a little bit to make it a little bit better.
If you can get some people in there to see it, they'll take it home and want it. It's something to watch. They're fast.
I think the money would come.
It will.
There is an insane amount of support behind breakaway roping. Since the ball has started rolling, it's just going to snowball.
Yeah.
And with Cheyenne going equal money, that's going to help.
It really puts some pressure on.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited. I do hope that I can make it down for Cheyenne just to watch a little bit of breakaway roping. And it's crazy because it doesn't take very long. We're talking like 1.6 second runs. Of course, maybe not in Cheyenne, but that's a whole different ballgame.
The arena's so long. They
can
be halfway down to get the next one loaded. It's easy to. That one is easy for it to just keep clicking. And it is a lot of fun to watch at Cheyenne.
Yeah. All right, next event, saddle bronc riding. So before we get and talk about the competition, I feel like a broken record here, but when we talk behind the scenes for the rough stock, there are literally production staff everywhere. You've got 3 people on the strip and shoots, taking stuff off in the back, making sure that they get out before the next horse comes in. You've also got two boys on each side of the buck and shoots. When the flank strap drops, you'll see them run around the edge of the arena. Listen, I would trip and fall. And then they'd have to bring you in to entertain everybody because I probably broke something. They'd have to carry me out on a stretcher. So that's not my job, thank goodness. But there's just so many little pieces that go into the production and keeping everything rolling. And those boys, I give them my kudos. I don't know all of their names or else I would say them, but there's just a lot that goes into making sure that everything keeps going smoothly. And it's something that you don't even notice because they're in and out so quickly. I would love to hear Flint Rasmussen, his take on the flank strap. I don't know. I guarantee you've heard it. I know. I guarantee you've heard it. I tried to get him on. I tried to get him on. I think today's Friday. See,
he's in Bismarck.
Yes, he flew out at 5:00 this morning. But he used to do this, I don't know, skit thing, if you will, with the flank strap and with channel.
Yeah.
What is the guy's name?
The
crocodile hunter. Oh my gosh. Crikey, look at it. Oh my gosh. And that also was quite a while ago, but still one of my very favorite things. And every time I see a flank strap, I think about it. Look at it. And obviously, I don't have as good an accent as he does. So, okay, back to the competition. Dylan looks like winning the average is Dylan Schofield from West Texas. I got all sorts of things popping up. Messages. Okay, I'll respond to you. I promise. Hang in there. Dylan Schofield popped up is leading the average, 79.75 and 71.5. Super consistent. It looks like there's been only a handful of 70s. I was looking to see if we had any bigger scores, but looks like our biggest score of the week is that 79.
Yeah, and Garrett Upton from the University of Wyoming, he's up tonight, and he's good on 2. He won the first round, and so hopefully it goes good tonight, because there's only 5 kids that have rode all 3 so far. The horses have been great, and they bucked hard, and for the bronc riding's been a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, here we go. So we do have an 80-point ride in the 3rd round. So I would say, as Kirsten told us yesterday, that 3rd round pin is a little more catty. And so hopefully we'll start seeing some of these bigger scores and these evening performances. And listen, believe it or not, the horses thrive on the crowd just as much as the contestants do. And so having those, the tougher set of stock in the live performances and the bigger evening performances, it's all part of the plan.
Yeah.
and seeing those rides come together. I mean, if the horse is performing at its top and the cowboy is performing at his top, it's like, I mean, it's like music.
Well, those horses are in the building when somebody ties a calf in 7-7 or ropes
Yeah.
a calf in 1-6. They feel the same thing we feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So it just feeds them.
Yeah, they're athletes too.
It's pretty amazing. All right, moving on. Steer wrestling. This is your event.
Yeah.
So we're gonna time out on rodeo and talk about Beau a little bit. So I am super intrigued by your background. You did not college rodeo.
Right.
So I guess talk to us a little bit about your college career and kind of how you came back to rodeo.
Yeah, as a little kid, we did the junior rodeo stuff, and about high school, when started roping calves and was getting ready to take the next step into high school rodeo, just it I wasn't in a situation where I could play football and basketball and high school rodeo was gonna be too much, so I kind of had to make a choice. And my first choice was I told my dad I wasn't gonna play basketball. Let's rope and do that. And he talked me out of it. So you got the rest of your life to rodeo if you want to. Why don't you be a kid and play the high school sports? So that's the route that I took, and then it turned into a football scholarship. They got to play football at Montana State for 5 years, and after that, then got back into team roping. And if you're the big guy at team roping and they're taking the horn wraps off, everybody wants to see if you can throw a steer down.
Right.
So tried that and loved it, and had a goal to make the NFR, and was fortunate to get to go in 2012. So it's a lot of fun to watch, and these boys have done a really good job all week steer wrestling. There's a ton of talent all over the country.
Listen, this is the common occurrence when I'm talking to cowboys. Most of them are so humble. As quickly as they can, they get the subject off of themselves. Like every time. But that's just who you are when you're raised in this industry and in this field, this background. So we're not done yet.
Yeah.
I'm not moving on just yet. So you played football at Montana State. Yeah. I know. I'm a Grizz fan, but I actually said go Cats this morning. I know. We don't need to talk about it.
No, it isn't that. No, I'll talk about that. Because if you're from Montana, that's the rivalry.
I know. That is the rivalry. Sorry,
we had a terrible streak for you guys being a 16.
Yes. So that's when I was there. 16 years, the Grizz beat the Bobcats. That was a fun time to be a Grizz.
Put an end to that streak in Missoula. Quickly. Beat them the next year at home, and then in the last 3-4 years, 4 years maybe, Montana State's
kind of swung the other way now.
Kinda.
Yeah. Kind of. So what's really funny, my uncle went to MSU. My brother went to Horseshoe School at MSU. Mm-hmm. So I'm super outnumbered. And I still am, because now here I am again. But props to that football coach and to the rodeo coaches. They've really, really kept that program going. So how did that transition happen? How did you get back into how did you get into coaching now?
So I was at Montana State when Mike True was the head rodeo coach there. When I'd come home, and he asked if I'd come out and help the steer wrestlers, and that turned into going every day. Yeah. To practice as much as I could. I remember Houston, being down in Houston and driving all night because I wanted to be at practice so bad the next day.
So it all kind of happened when you were pursuing your professional steer wrestling career.
Yeah, I was. When I was home, I'd get to go help the college in Montana State, and just loved helping the kids and being around it. And so at the end of my rodeo career, I tore my pec, and we had a little baby boy. And I was like, maybe I need to find something a little more guaranteed than rodeo, because anything can happen. And fortunately, CINCH had an opening for a rodeo coach, and I was lucky to get that position. Now we're at the University of Wyoming, so it's worked out really well, and get to do something I'm passionate about.
Yeah, for sure. So for those of you guys that would like more information on the University of Wyoming and how Beau puts his program together, super impressive. Definitely structured program, but clearly it works. We're bringing lots of contestants from UW to the CNFR every year. So go back and look at the Bullfrog Creatives interview. I can't even tell you when it happened, but it was last year at some point. There was a lot of them, so I don't remember. Yeah. I don't suppose you do.
No, it was in the spring sometime. But
yeah. So educate yourself. If you guys are looking for colleges to attend next year, you're definitely going to want to check those out. We are at the 30-minute mark, so let's go ahead and take a little commercial break. Again, you are joining us for the CNFR Morning Show brought to you by CINCH Jeans. We'll be right back.
Perfection almost looks easy. But it isn't. Here's to those who go the distance.
Hey guys, we're back. Beau had to go get some water. It's hard talking a lot. It's hard work. Somebody once told me that they could stick a quarter in me and I would talk for hours. I don't think it was meant to be a compliment, but I took it as one. I'll take that.
Definitely.
Thank you guys for sticking around. Also, keep in mind you guys can ask questions in the comments, and we'll be able to see those and respond to those. So if you have any questions, please feel free to interact with us. We're pretty low key, just having a good conversation about rodeo and yeah, all the good stuff that nobody else really talks about. So let's go ahead and move on to the goat tying. I'm kind of a goat tying fan, although I am paying those consequences now. You can only jump off a moving horse like so
Rex.
long before, like,
catches up
yeah,
to you.
it certainly
Yeah.
catches up to you. So I had my back fused about 20 years ago, and I kept, I clearly made the smart decision and kept rodeoing.
Right.
He told me I could, so I did. But it's definitely catching up to me. I'm sure with steer wrestling. I feel like those two events are like kindred spirits because there's really good wrecks in the steer wrestling also.
Yeah, I know for sure. But I think the goat time would be harder. We hit it, we get off the horse, but when it's bad, we just hit on our butt and slide.
Right.
Fine.
Well, I
You
mean, unless
guys
you like kamikaze.
are running
Yes.
and
Our,
an
our
ankle and
knees
knee,
and ankles and hips
and you
all
gotta-
pay the
and
consequences.
you got to slow down. You don't get to slide.
No.
We get to slide.
Well, I mean, you could slide, but it's
Yeah.
not really in the plan. It's not really in the original plan.
Right.
I remember. I don't.
Goat tires are tougher than tires. That's what.
I don't know that I've ever heard anybody say that.
More
Oh,
athletic.
look at
for
that's
sure.
so funny. There was just a fly sitting on the camera.
Yeah.
What's that?
Listen, I tried. We worked so hard
did.
to try to get all the flies out of here, and then he was just sitting on the camera. I kind of. Sorry, hang in there. I was just talking to somebody. I don't know that I ever had like consecutive rodeos that I didn't almost die. I mean, it felt like that. That I did not wreck in the goat tying. In high school, I remember I couldn't tell you who it was, and I didn't think it was funny then. But I had some guy came up to my dad and wanted to know if he could rent me to help him dig ditches. And I was like, that's terrible. Also true, but terrible. It was Laramie High School Rodeo, actually, because that was always the first one. And so I dug a lot of ditches. I learned by the time I got to college, I figured out that the calf horse was a much better option than the barrel horse. So
Yeah.
You have to learn the hard way in the goat tying, though. And so let's talk about that. I think that there's so many different styles for dismounts in the goat tying and you don't see the calf horse stop and get off anymore at all. And I guess what's your take on? I feel like it's just as fast because you get that send from their stop also. Maybe you guys.
Ask Casey. She's
Yes,
the goat tying
okay.
expert.
I would disagree. I think
Yeah.
that the horses are going mock chicken down there these days,
Yeah.
and they get way more of a send, and it's probably smoother and more consistent.
So I used my brother's calf horse, and he didn't ever go into a sliding stop. I think he enjoyed it more than breakaway roping, honestly. But he was honest, and I could correct him. Like if I stepped off the right side, I could correct his from leaving. But I would never have stepped off a running horse to correct that because then I would have died, I think. But and I remember when I made it in the goat tying, after the slack, after the Tuesday slack, we had to run some extras, and I could already tell that he was starting to leave me. And so I stepped off the right side, and I could hear this collective, like everybody thought I was going down. But that was the only way that I could keep him honest. And as a calf horse, he responded to it super easy, and we were good for my night performance. But that's the only thing. Have you had problems in the past keeping your horses honest? I mean, what keeps them from checking out?
Well, we were kind of talking about that this week, Beau and I, about how, like, I do think it's pretty important to have a great horse in the goats. They have to be so honest. Because it is hard to correct them, and they're not going to correct them and be a 6 here.
Yes. Yeah.
So
it's hard to make those corrections midweek, too.
Yep.
You know, if you have 2 runs in the slack and you feel that movement going out, like you're kind of stuck and you're just hoping on a prayer that it doesn't happen on your night performance.
Right.
We have 2 girls here in the goats, and both of their horses are honest as the day is long, and I swear they just haul
No issues
down there.
I did see, and I posted a picture of it. I did see a girl who had literally a blue bra
Yep.
on her horse's head, and the one side was cut out, but the right side was covered. And I mean, we're crafty.
Yeah.
I said, well, I mean, at least it matches your vest. You've got some color coordination
Yep.
there. So, but I mean, these ladies, they do everything. I used to wear a right spur, which also made me feel like a bulldogger because I know there's a little trick there for that. But yeah, so I think, what else are some other tips and tricks? I mean, we talked a little bit. Oh, I do have to make a correction. We talked about Paige Rasmussen the other day, and Flint messaged me on Facebook to let me know that Paige is not a stuffer. She is a gatherer. Like, he wanted to clarify that. So there is a difference. There's a couple different ways. Lynn Smith teaches gathering and not stuffing because I always tried to stuff and gather in the air, but I was inconsistent. It wasn't consistent enough for me to know that it was going to happen every year. What are your girls doing?
So Taylor Latham does the Stacy Martin. She leg stuffs basically.
Yeah.
And Faith has her own style that's similar but different to that. I don't know. I've seen a lot of success with Lynn's style. I tried Jordan Thurston's style. There's obviously been tons of success with that, with the collar flanking. It's whatever you're consistent at, whatever you can keep everything smooth.
Yeah, yeah. And I think oftentimes you still you might have a way that you prefer, but you still got to be able to be quick on your feet.
Which I think, I always thought that was the big perk of stuffing, is if you miss your stuff, you gather.
You still have, yeah.
Where if you gather, you're you're committed to it.
Yeah.
And that's just a personal opinion, but as long as you can keep moving forward. Jordan always says use your eyes and see the next move.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's one of the things, I got in the habit where I was flanking by the collar, but I wasn't consistent with it. And so once I could break that habit and go back to the leg, but it's little things like that if you do it once and you do it twice, like it almost becomes habit, and you've got to go back to running down the rope on your leg, just ground tying and trying to get back to what works best.
So I collar flanked. I'd grab the collar and pull him to me. And I took a semester off in between my bachelor's and master's. And so I worked on leg flanking. That was no good for me because then I was stuck somewhere in between, not good at either style.
Well, and then what happens when you're in competition is you go back to that muscle memory.
Yep.
So if you're so used to flanking with that collar,
my hands would do something before my brain would be like, oh, are we doing that style this time?
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. Like, oh, I guess we're doing it this way. And I don't know. I mean, I felt like I had more tools in my belt to be able to handle, wherever the goat went, whatever happened, then I could kind of adjust to that. But I also felt like it was a little bit of a kind of a hindrance.
Yep. I had to go back. Make myself.
So you don't have a lot to say about the goat tying.
No, I've never tried.
No, you've never tried it?
No stories about your college trips here?
No. I just sit back and enjoy the show.
That's funny. So our fast time in the goat tying is at Paige Rasmussen with a 6 flat. Now, I don't know. See, I've got to get arena records because I don't know that we've done sub 6.
think Shelby Winchell did.
Shelby
Not
did?
this week though.
Not
No,
this week, but
sorry.
but
in the past.
in the
I think she
past.
was 5.
Yeah, in the past usually there's like a 5'8" or 5'9". I don't know what they're. I was told once the arena record is tied, and one was a gather and one was a stuff.
Oh, that's good to know. Honestly, everybody's going to say that their way is the best.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think truly the way that works for you, that's the best.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had to make some adjustments after I had back surgery because I had to take care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Although probably the smarter choice was to not be a goat tire, but that didn't happen. But you know, you make adjustments and you make things work for you. And I think we've seen across the board national champions in all different ways, be it stuffing, gathering in the air, whatever you want to call it. Everybody kind of has that lingo. I would add, Stacy Martin
Mhm.
has kind of brought goat tying to a whole new level, like next level goat tying. She has
Mhm.
that kind of those schools that she travels around and does. So, you know, Lynn Smith also does the same thing. I don't know if Jordan does schools or not.
I do think it's whatever you dedicate to and whatever you
Mhm.
put the sweat equity into, it pays off.
So looking at the average in the goat tying, the girl that is first, Paige Rasmussen, she has tied 3 sixes, 6 flat, 6-6, 6-3, and the next 4 people are sixes. And then we've got 2 6s and a 7, 6s and a 7. You know, y'all are gonna have to tie pretty quick to make it back into goat time this year.
Oh yeah, if you're not in the sixes, you're on the verge of stubbing your toe, not being able to make it back.
Look at these. We've got a 3-way tie for 12th place right now.
Yeah.
Talk about the crying hole.
I always said that goats and barrels is the hardest one. You cannot stub your toe in here.
No,
Those
you
girls
can't.
are ruthless.
Get out of here, fly. No, you can't. And I mean, the barrels is right. We'll talk about that. We're talking a tenth of a second difference.
Yeah.
So
The breakaway, we got a 1-6, and then
yeah,
this is like you're blown away with the people who are at the top of the goat time, and you're blown away with the barrel horses that are here. And the women's rodeo is just going to a whole
absolutely.
Might be being better than even the men's side, because
Mhm.
I don't know that there's like 6 bulldoggers where you're like, geez, right? I mean,
It
Bridger
could be any of
Anderson's
these.
here, obviously, but
Yeah,
and the calf rope's been great. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like there's 8 of them. Not like
Neck
the
and neck.
girls' side.
neck
It's,
and neck. And I mean, there's some years that it's not neck and neck. I mean, there's
Yeah.
some years where there's one girl that takes off with it, and in the breakaway, I think that's easier because if you get one girl that comes out with 2s and 1s consistently,
That's hard.
that's hard.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that, and even in the goat time, you've got to be super consistent. Which I never was super consistent. I mean, I could go out and be a 6 one day, and then I would be a 9, like, or I would fall. You know, it was make it or break it.
Selling tickets.
Yeah. Thank you. I did serve a purpose.
I just think like the goats and the barrels, there's no room for error. The national champions here, they came and they had 4 perfect runs.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be really exciting. I mean, those girls that are in that 12th spot right now, they're nervous. There is a slight chance that they can make it, but there's not a lot of no scores, which kind of speaks to the stock. You know, we had Jim Boy on live a couple nights ago, I think, and he was talking about what goes into getting a nice even set of goats, which I feel like is never talked about. Like, oh, you got the goats? Cool, bring them out of the pasture, bring them in. Like, it's just there's never been really a lot of thought put into it. And I think Jim Boy does a great job.
He had it broke down.
Yeah.
To breathe, the weight.
Yeah, he
everything.
knew in that interview, like,
Yeah,
I don't know goat breeds.
I was like, dang, that's pretty good for an old bulldogger to
Yes.
that, have it down to a science. So.
For sure.
One of our steer wrestlers, Shadron Cofield, he stayed and watched the goat time when they broke him in on Friday, I think.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, if their eye even looked left, they're like, he's out of here.
Yeah.
He's like,
And that's just it. The girls got to pick.
mm-hmm.
So I think he said he brought 36 goats and they drew from 21 of them. And so you'll probably know this. Does every girl get a fresh goat in the performance? Or is it 3
in
ties?
The perf, they go 3.
Okay. And then in the short go, everyone gets a fresh goat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's also not something that we ever talk about. But the person that has to hold that goat, I don't know that I could do that because those horses are hauling. They're going fast. Better clean that up a little bit. They're going fast. And so the person that's holding the goat holder has to step away when that flag drops. But it's still a fairly short distance from where that flag drops to the goat, and especially in this pen. So
Man, there's rules on like they have to hold them a certain way. It has to be the
has
same
to be
person.
the same. Has to be the same person all week. Has to be the same. Like you have to hold it the same every time. So, and I guarantee those girls will know if something's out of place down there. They'll be like, switch hands.
Right.
You're doing it different. All right, let's move on to team roping. I was pretty excited last night during the team roping.
Everybody was excited.
That was pretty
last
cool.
night.
You can tell it was Casper crowd.
Yeah. So Carson and Kellen Johnson, they have won. Carson. Yes, Kellen and Trey Yates won. That's what I was thinking about. We talked about it yesterday. Kellen Johnson and Trey Yates won a national championship here at the college finals. 18?
Yeah,
It wasn't 19, I don't think.
No, it wasn't 19.
So now Kellen and Carson, brothers, roping together, coached by their dad, which as a parent is kind of miraculous anyways. Maybe there's an age where like they get to an age and they do think that you know something.
Right.
We're not there yet.
You're not.
No, we're not there yet. So coached by their father, who is also an NFR champion. And listen, we're not done with the Carson boys. There's another, I can't remember his name, Jaron?
Okay. Well,
Cress.
there's cousins.
Yeah, there's cousins, but then Cress is the little brother. So we're not done with this family when these boys graduate. So they are making it back on 3 with a 20.7, followed very closely by a 20.8, and then it jumps to a 29.1, which also a pretty big jump there between the second hole and the third hole in the team roping. Oftentimes, many years, we'll see the team roping kind of fall apart. But we are not seeing that. We've got seven teams that have good runs, and I don't know. Did these guys have their third calf or their third take? Lansing. Yeah. So I don't know. There is an opportunity if you have one no time in the team rope, and you can still make it back to the short go. So. But there's a lot of really solid times. The top 7, and it ranges from a 20.7 clear down to a 54.2. So even if you're long, you still got 3.
Yeah, no, the barrier I think this year made it a little more challenging, and so that's why the people who are good on 2 are gonna have a chance maybe to come back to the short round. Like Casey said about horsepower, Kellen and Carson, and then Bodie and Cody Lansing are in our region. Great horses. And that's why they're in the position that they're in. So.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's one of the things that we take for granted. We talked about this a little bit. The horsepower, oh my gosh, I know you guys can't see this, but there's like 17 flies in here bugging us. The horsepower that it takes to compete, even at this collegiate level, is unreal. You know, some of these guys have 2 and 3 backup horses, and that wasn't really a thing when we were going. Like, I had 1 horse, and I was lucky to have 1 horse. And so now you see cowboys and cowgirls have one good horse and another good backup horse, and maybe even another backup horse that maybe wasn't really a thing in the past for college rodeo.
They have horses that excel in different setups, even. I mean,
and this is my indoor horse. This is my outdoor horse. Yeah, for sure. I know Michaela Seeley qualified as a freshman in the barrel race, and she rode a different horse at the finals. One that could compete better in an indoor pattern than her regular horse. Yeah, and won the round. And I will add, she's my adopted college kid, so I might be slightly biased in that, but yes, my kids also love her. So, so the team roping is going to be really good. You guys, did you guys bring any teams in the team roping?
No, well, Jay Stout's here. They've had a little bit of rough luck, but he goes again tonight. Yeah, so they're as talented as anybody. They could win the round, or we're hoping they win the round.
For sure. And that's the good thing is that winning the round is just as sweet. I mean, it's no national title, but there's still something to be said to win a round at the college finals is still speaking to your talent for sure.
Oh yeah, no, it's been great for the Brandy Shack went around
Mhm.
this week, and Seth is winning the calf open, and Garrett Upton won around dog riding. It's real rewarding for those guys. They get a ring, I think, for winning the round.
Yeah.
It's something they'll have forever, so it's special.
Yeah. So, man, I was going to say something and I forgot. One of the things about having a lot going on up there. Sometimes things get lost. All right, moving on to the barrel racing. Also super tight. In the average, 42.70 on 3 is leading it. Followed very closely by 42.92 and then 43.08, 43.28. Man, barrel racing is tough.
There's some outstanding horses here.
Well, and the best part about barrel racing, I think, is when you're watching them, sometimes it can be really hard to tell when those horses are fast. I mean, there's some horses that stretch out and look super deceiving, like they're just slow loping through that pattern, and then they'll come up with a low 14.
Yeah.
I mean, the best part about it, so that's all horsepower. I mean, there's a lot of girls out there that are cowgirl and are riding and making these things happen, but it comes right down to the horsepower in the barrel racing.
I've been raking barrels in the perfs, and it is amazing to watch. I mean, there's a lot to be said for the horsepower, but these girls ride so quiet and so consistent, and they know their spots, and their body is like so honest all the way around the barrels. I mean, they're riding the horses to the best of their ability as well.
Yeah, and I would say at this level, it is rocket science. I mean, you know exactly where your hands got to be to make your horse come around and make your horse perform, and what you've got to do with your legs.
And these horses are in fighting shape too. Like,
yeah,
they are on the best feed for the last probably 6 years of their life, and they've been in training just like an athlete.
So let's talk about, I mean, I think y'all have kind of an advantage coming from Wyoming, but there is a little, I mean, it's different, and I assume that the oh my gosh, what am I talking about here? We're at 51,000 feet, 5,100 feet here, 5,150. So the elevation has to come into play for some of these people that are traveling farther, traveling from the east, maybe from a lower elevation. Do we see that impact the horses?
I don't know. I would think so. It impacts people when you go to the elevation, but
yeah, I would think so too. I think the horses recover quicker than humans.
In humans,
but I mean, just like you were talking about the broncs in the perf, I know Carson. She got her horse in the little holding area as quick as she could, get his energy up and let him feed off of the crowd, because
for sure,
the barrel horses just as much.
Well, and that's another thing too. I mean, it's a pretty small alley, the tunnel coming in when you're competing on the time limit side. And we've done some interviews back there. If you guys want to see that, head on over to Bullfrog Creatives. We've taken pictures, but it's interesting to see. You don't have a lot of room, and I think barrel horses, although I think goat tine horses are right up there too, but barrel horses are known kind of for being a little hotter. Well, I mean, some of them are crazy. We'll just go there, but. And so when you have to bring your horse up that tunnel, you have a little space to work with, and then you get into that wide open kind of feel to be able to kind of stage for at least 1 or 2 runs, like get them in, let them see what's going on. And then, when that person in front of you goes, then you have that little space that then they can look around and kind of see what's going on and see what we're doing. I know I always felt like they knew what was going on because I had the same routine every time I ran. I had the same warm-up pattern. I had the same, like it was just structured and they knew what was going on. I mean, what's your opinion on that?
Absolutely. I think by the time they get to this level, these suckers, they know their job.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like you say, get them in, let their eyes adjust, and let them work.
Yeah. And I mean, you'll see, I think, last night I think we saw one. It happens where the horses don't see that first barrel. The good thing is the wall is yellow and the barrel is blue. So there's some differentiation there, but if you can feel it, I mean, almost immediately you can feel it when you're coming out that alley that your horse is not seeing. She is not seeing that first barrel, and you're just hoping on a prayer.
This is such a different setup than most college rodeos. I know in our region we don't have anything that's even similar to this. So it's like, I mean, they know the pattern, they know their job, but there's still room for error.
For sure, for sure. And I mean, very rarely do we see it at this level. Because again, most of these women and most of these cowboys are competing. They're already competing at that professional level, which is one of the differences between college rodeo and college football. and any other college sport, you can't do both. You can't compete professionally and compete at the collegiate level because it just doesn't work. And I mean, NCAA has different regulations than the NIRA does. So a lot of these cowboys and cowgirls are already competing at the pro level. They're already winning. They've already earned their permit or, whichever, but they're also earning money at those big rodeos too. And so you expect, I mean, you don't expect it, but you learn real quickly that level of competition is just as good as going to a professional rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and you guys can speak to this, I would say the biggest difference between watching a professional rodeo and a college rodeo is the level of try. I mean, we talk about that, and I would say we see this in the steer wrestling far more, or maybe even the goat tying. When you're just trying to get 3 down and you've got him by the tail, there's still a chance.
Right.
Literally have the steer by the tail. And there was a cowboy that did that last night, and he got a steer down. But the college try is so prevalent and so good to see. I mean, I think that's why so many more people are coming to this rodeo.
Yeah, no, it's fun to see them if they start a job, they finish it. And that's kind of the Western culture and how all these kids have been raised. Give it your best and don't ever give up. And so it's fun to see.
I would say in college too, you only have 5 years. You have a limited number of years, and in pro rodeo, it probably rolls off your back a little easier because there's a next one and there's always a next year. And here,
and it changes.
This is what you have.
I think the pressure changes because while you do have like more time, there's not like a set time that you have to be done in the pre-RCA. There's kind of a timeline as far as age.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, typically you don't age out. And I would say the one event that you don't really age out of is the team roping.
Right.
I mean, that's a little easier. That's a lot easier on your body than most of the other events. And even the barrel racing, we've seen some older qualifiers for the barrel racing too.
Yeah.
But man, steer wrestling's hard on you.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's still some older. Listen, you tore a pec, for crying out loud. Like you can't even stir the eggs.
I could, yeah. Well, I could. I just couldn't catch the move that I hit. 6 months.
That's all right. You can still cook. We're good.
Yeah.
All right. It's your turn.
Uh-oh.
It's your turn to talk. We're on to the bull riding now.
Okay.
We didn't even talk about who's winning the barrel racing. That's all right. Let's see. Jaylee Matthews. Anyone want to take a stab at
Carson's
that school?
4th, University of Wyoming.
Oh, heck yeah.
So we'll see her Saturday.
She's a great kid. She's an education major from Big Piney. Great family. And her horse is like so consistent and so honest. And
where'd she go?
They have a great relationship, her and Champ.
So she started her first round of 14-3. Oh my gosh, I lost again. 14-3-4, 14-4-2, 14-5-2. When does she have her? Well, she's going to make it back.
Yeah, she'll make it.
She'll make it back. But the good thing, she'll have her 4th run. She's got a few days off. When did she run?
Last night.
So she'll have a couple days off. And I didn't realize how hard it was on these horses until I had to run Monday, Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
You don't understand how much energy they expel in that short burst of time. And, I slowed down also in that 3rd round, but it's hard. I fully expect that she'll be picking back up after a couple days off, after that horse has a couple days off. So she's still got a good chance.
Yeah. No, she's got a chance.
Man, what is she? I mean, do you talk to them about that or do you not even touch that?
That girl, she is so mature and so well prepared. Like, we just smile at Carson and tell her good job. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go for the win picture.
She takes care of everything. Her school's a 4.0. She gets up and practices 7:30 in the morning every single day, rides 5 horses. And so, yeah, the best thing we can do is just, we're here to support you.
Yeah. Whatever you want us to do.
Yeah, that girl doesn't need any.
Can I get you some water?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. Your
Yeah.
mom can't come down here, so what can we do? How can we be a rodeo mom tonight? She's an amazing student athlete and amazing horse. So that's
perfect. Well, I'm glad you guys brought that up. That's really good. So clearly it's Wyoming Day on the CNFR morning show. So you guys better sharpen your pencils. And also, if you are attending the college finals, make some signs, support your schools. I mean, I think coming from the production side of it, there is nothing cooler than looking up, especially with the camera and ESPN, there's nothing cooler than looking up and seeing school colors and signs, go Pokes. And the kids see it too. I keep calling them kids, but the student athletes see it too. And again, they feed off that positive emotion, and it comes right back into how they perform in their event that night. Okay, now it's your turn.
Okay.
So, Matt, I'm sad that we don't get to see more of you.
Right.
Do you have skits and things that we would like to see?
Oh, I mean, we do a lot of stuff, but I mean, it's again, it's a production. It's like the NFR. If I'm not doing anything, that means everything's smooth. And
Right.
I'm 100% okay with that. I mean, I'm not here to get in the way. I don't need to be heard, seen. I just assume everything goes smooth for these kids and let them go win national titles.
All right, so let's talk about the bull riding. I think, man, my son keeps telling me he wants to be a bull rider.
Well,
he's only got to ride one.
Yeah,
well,
you got a pretty good shot at it.
Okay,
pretty
now
good
wait.
Shot at it.
Let's talk about bull riding just a little bit. You'll know about this because you were there. I tried to get the announcers to talk about this. So Carson Johnson got on a bull at the. Was it Kellen?
It was Kellen.
Or
Yep.
Carson? Okay, I get them mixed up because I'm not around them enough. So Kellen Johnson got on a bull at the Casper College Rodeo on a bet, which I think I might have taken that bet also because it was for a lot of money, $5,000. I tried to get the announcers to talk about it, but I mean they had so much.
$5,000.
I know, right? So he was bet at some point. I mean, I'm sure that there were many conversations had about it, but he took a bet that he would not get on a bull, and it had to be at a college rodeo. So he takes the bet. He gets on a bull. I believe it was one of Ike Sankey's bulls, and the bull was laying down like in the chute, and Ike just told him to take it. But so he rode a bull at the Casper College Rodeo and earned a $5,000 check.
And he was on it for like a second and a half.
Yeah, a second. I mean, a second. I'll give him that.
Pretty good
but
money.
I mean, that's just one of those behind the scenes stories, which I think everybody in the crowd at that Casper College Rodeo was like, "What? Why?"
Oh, yeah, entertaining because everybody knows who Kellen is.
Yeah.
You want to see him get on a bull, but you don't want to see him get hurt.
That's what I was like. Don't
It
hurt
couldn't
your
have been
roper.
any more perfect. He rode him for a jumper, so it looked great.
Yeah.
And then
made it happen.
Yeah, fell off on his butt. Nobody got hurt. He got some money. Everybody had a great time.
Yeah, I think Chris, he was telling me that his little brother was pretty proud of him also. And I'm like, oh, God.
Jet run up there and high-fived him. Everybody was proud of him.
Yeah,
so
it was pretty fun watching, I think, from this other side. Okay, now let's talk about the real bull riders. So, the real bull riders. I mean, I guess he can say I'm a bull rider now. So, I mean, technically he did it, so.
Oh, he can walk a little taller.
He won money, too.
Yeah.
Really.
He won more money that weekend in doing that than he
filled
did.
his permit, so.
And he could have if he won the bull riding.
Yeah, so the bull riding is always difficult, and I've got to think that there's got to be some level of mental, kind of a mental block, but also the bulls at the college finals are, I mean, they're professional bulls.
You see these bulls going up and down the road to any rodeos these guys are doing. I mean, they're the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
These bullfighters know them. We know them. I mean, they're no joke.
Yeah. So, and I would say, and you could probably speak to this, maybe, the level of bulls in each region is a little bit different, but what is it like in the Central Rocky Mountain region? I mean, what are they riding all year?
Yeah, I think it's not a day off to go to the college rodeo. They go to good bulls. And to be successful at any level of bull riding, you're going to have to work really hard and be in great shape.
Yeah.
Have a great attitude.
Well, and I think we've seen that big change, I would say, across the board, but definitely in the rough stock events, that cowboys are taking better care of themselves. Mm-hmm. They're working harder to be at their top physically. And we're seeing that in those scores. You know, we had a good conversation with the judges during the Slack Tuesday, I think. And we talked about that. One of the things that they noticed the most, having been in the industry for so long, is that level, the athletic level and the athletic ability in the cowboys has certainly gone up.
Yeah, the ones that do work at it are naturally gifted athletically. It's an advantage. So,
yeah. So back to results, we're seeing average. We've got, well, I thought we had one that had covered 3, but we do not. We have 2 that have covered 2. I would say, I know one year in particular, there was one guy that covered 3.
The bulls are outstanding. It's more fun to watch the bulls than the bull
They're
riders
good,
half
and
the time.
I think the short round is going to be just a step up. I know that we saw some bulls on Sunday that I haven't seen yet that they're probably holding them back for the short round. There's a big black muley that'll fit in there, and he's all there, and he wants to play rodeo when he's done too.
Yeah,
So I mean, they're gonna have some bulls come out
they're
Saturday
ranked. Yeah,
that
for
are gonna
sure.
be testing their chalk.
Who, and now I know you guys don't know all of the kids, but who should we be watching for? I mean, I think these 2 boys.
Quentin ride his second one yet?
I just saw him in here. I don't.
No, he's up tonight. Looks like, and Quentin, he's a great talent in the bronc ride and bull ride, ropes calves. So.
Yeah, an all-around hand. So
Fantastic.
Quentin Taylor performs for.
And then
This cracks me up.
there's your flag.
There's that fly. I mean, land anywhere else in this room, but right there.
Seth Ross, I think he's got a kid that's
A kid. So that's another thing. I mean, does it benefit these bull riders? You know, Seth performed at a professional level. He's got to be able to give these kids some tips and tricks.
Oh yeah, Seth was a beast. When he competed at the college finals and then at the NFR, he went 4 times in the bull riding. So yeah, Seth's a great coach, and I think helps him a lot. The kid he has that rides for him does a really good job. So
very cool. So let's talk about, and I know that you're not a bullfighter. There is a difference, but can you explain the difference? And were you a bullfighter ever?
I did. I fought bulls for 7-8 years, but I mean, when I started with Tuckness, so you come up with Tuckness, and you got guys like the ones here, Nate, Beau, Al, Nate Justice, all those guys. I couldn't compete with those. I mean, they're naturally, they're freaks. They really are. I mean,
we have a
freaks.
mutual friend in Colby Gines.
Colby Gines,
primetime Colby Gines.
Yeah,
he fought bulls for years, and I mean, he was a bull rider in high school, which I always thought he was so good because he dang near could hook his feet under the bulls. He was so tall and long-legged, but then he fought bulls for years also, and
one of the only guys that ever jump spotted demon more than once. Yeah. Anybody that knows bullfighting, spotted demon was Benny's man killer for a long time.
He was super fun to watch.
Yeah, he's just wired different.
Yeah, you have to be.
You have to be. Yeah, those guys are, and well, like Nate. I mean, every time I talk to him, hey, we're doing. I just got done working out. They go harder than anybody, and I think that goes back the same thing with all the rough stock guys. They see the positive stuff coming out of taking care of your body and the longevity of your career getting longer. So
yeah, and I think, I mean, this could be wrong. Clearly, and my bias is going to come out here for Wyoming boys, but Kelly Timmerman kind of started setting that bar a few years back when he was competing in the bareback riding, because he had a mental game and a physical game that was just a little bit different even then. And so I think a lot of people have climbed onto that and started changing their prep. I mean, the prep is different now, but a lot of it happens before you even go near the rodeo.
Yeah, this is the easy stuff. It's the fun stuff.
Yeah. The hard stuff is trying to keep your body physically fit. I've seen nutrition coming back into play now. I mean, not back in, but like coming in on the athlete side, whereas not just, like trying not to grow old side. That's where I'm at.
Mental game is in there too. I'd say those 3 things, people are starting to realize that it's not just your hours in the arena. It's a lot of time in between.
Well, and I think one of the things too is at this level, you're going to see some talent kind of rise, but ultimately kind of across the board on average, everybody's kind of on that same playing field. And the mental game is what gets you that next step up. And here, certainly at this level and certainly at the NFR level, I mean, the professional level, there's talent everywhere. There's so much talent everywhere. And how do you set yourself apart when everybody can rope that 7-7, when everybody can tie the goat in the 6 flat? Like, there's got to be one thing that you can do for your mental game that nobody else is doing, or that you can do just a little bit better. And I think the mental game, you don't really think about it too much. And especially the fans for rodeo, maybe they don't think about it either, but you've got to be able to put these results aside. And when Boyd says, she's got to be less than a 3 flat.
Just let it
You
roll.
just got to let it roll off and go do it.
Well, it's not even that, but it's the torture of traveling day in and day out.
Oh, yeah, so
You
much.
guys know you drive
not easy.
24, 48 hours straight just to get out and run one run. You got to be able to handle that.
Well, and oftentimes, I call this platform my passion project. You're not always rodeoing for money. And I think that so many people feel like, especially at a professional level, like, oh, they're making so much money. I mean, this girl just won $67,000. Like, man, she just caught up on her house payment, or she just got caught up on that truck payment that she has to have to go down the road. I mean, it's not always peaches and cream.
And sometimes you have to rodeo for money, and you have to be able to handle that too.
Yes,
You know?
yes, for sure.
Sometimes
I gotta
you need
win.
that
I've got to win here
67,000.
so I can go to the next one, or because I won here, I'm good. Yeah. And that plays into that mental game. That's a whole different level of being able to compete in a big stage, but also leaving that at the trailer and still being able to compete. And you've got kind of almost have to compartmentalize.
Yeah, I mean, I go somewhere and I'm there for a week, but you guys, you're in,
Yeah.
you're in there and you might be there for 20 minutes and then especially this time of year.
Yeah.
So that's a whole different animal. I don't know anything about really.
Yeah, no, it's a skill that you got to develop, and always trying to get better at the mental game, your physical part. So it makes it fun.
And I know that's what I was impressed with about your program. I know that you guys focus a lot on getting in the gym and making sure that your grades are up. That's one of the things that I really feel like and I admire. I mean, I did it. We all did it. You know, you played sports in college, so you know you got to keep your GPA up. It's hard, and even if even if you've got those kids that are just going to school to rodeo, they still have to maintain that GPA. So, yeah, you still have to go to class. You still have to perform in the classroom and academically in order to be eligible to perform in the arena.
Oh yeah, no, we hope they're doing more than just being eligible, because we don't want them to commit to mediocrity in anything. You know, let's do the best we can at whatever we're doing. So yeah, it's a lot. This last year, we didn't get to work out like we did the years before with COVID, and I can see a difference with. We had maybe a few more injuries this year than we've had in the past. There's times that even in like calf roping, I don't know if we were as strong as we were. Where in the past, one of the things that I was proud of about the program is that our kids didn't make some of the mistakes that they made, and I think it's directly tied into that. We didn't get the opportunity to work out this year like we have in the past.
Well, and it's funny because the kids last year, when we did get to work out, they'd, grumble and complain about getting up in the morning. Well, then this following, we didn't get to, and they're like, man, I miss working out. I felt so much better.
It was funny. They would, I mean, the only time you could get them all together in one spot was early in the morning.
Yeah.
So it's not everybody's in the habit of getting up early. So for some, it was a challenge. But on the other side, anytime they did an interview or anything, they're like, man, it's been great. We work hard. The team gets up and works out.
Yeah.
Like, you complain over here, but you're so dang proud of it over here. It's obviously helping you. So maybe we just quit complaining.
It's one of those it's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
We know it helps. We really don't like to do it.
Yeah.
I also feel that about working out.
Right.
I get it. So, well, we are approaching that 1 hour mark. I've been trying to be fairly consistent with that. Do you guys have anything else to add?
No, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no problem.
Rodeo, college rodeo.
Yeah, well, we have a good time. So, again, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Sometimes we drone on, but it's always good conversation, and I think that's kind of what it's all about. Again, you've joined us for CNFR Mornings, brought to you by CINCH Jeans. We will be back for one more morning show tomorrow morning. We're going to kind of, excuse me, we will talk about what to expect on Saturday. We'll have some other great guests. We're going to have Darcy Robertson from Platinum Performance join us. She's one of our, Platinum Performance is one of our new telecast sponsors, so we want to kind of learn about what they have to offer, and we will go from there. Who's going to join us? We'll see. We will see. That's going to be a surprise guest, so you have to tune in. You guys have a wonderful afternoon. Oh, before I go, one more plug. If you want to get more behind the scenes stories, head on over to Bullfrog Creatives. We've been doing a lot of live stuff, a lot of things that maybe you're not going to see from anyone else. So head on over to Bullfrog Creatives. Like us, we'll be doing. We cover college rodeo. We talk about college rodeo year round, and also can help with those recruiting needs if y'all are juniors and seniors in high school. So you guys have a wonderful Friday. It all blends together, you guys, and we will catch you tomorrow.